first match of the day. In the top left, nowadays playing as human from France, give it up for SyDe. And his opponent in the bottom right, in the blue, a very successful player known all too well to the German audience, is XlorD. Starting with what made him quite famous and quite successful in the German league, the ESL Meisterschaft as well, the XlorD, something that you, I believe, also have some experience against.
Yeah, it's somewhat unconventional these days to go for XlorD. We see a lot more Lich first, especially that match where XlorD qualified for this very tournament when he played against Starbuck. He was playing Lich first a lot, very convincingly as well. So I wonder what the reasoning is here. Maybe it's about the map. He feels a bit more comfortable here just expanding with the XlorD. There's going to be, for sure, a bit of a surprise effect going up against SyDe, who initially was an undead player, so he should know better than anyone how to play against that style as well.
Yeah, SyDe, but he was an undead player. It seemed like his favorite hero was the Dreadlord. Interestingly, now he's not playing UD anymore. We see more Dreadlord than ever from Happy, for example. But yeah, it's very interesting. You mentioned the Lich. We see him the most, I would say. But the hero choice seemed to be very map-dependent, also player-dependent. Dreadlord especially on big maps, but XlorD especially on Hammerfall and Lost Temple. I've seen XlorD the most, from 1 to 0, for example. It always seems to me like level 3 and Mercs are the big difference maker here. Human would love to have Mercs, but no Mercs here. Human would love to be level 3, but not easy to get level 3 here either. So it seems like on paper the XlorD on level 2 versus level 2 might do quite well.
And there was a bit of a game of chicken happening in the middle here where both players ran past one another and it's like, okay, who's going to cave first, who's going to go back and defense? In this case, SyDe just evacuated the expansion knowing that there was going to be ghouls there ready to kill all those peasants. He's going to get the cancel on the other side. I don't see a tech starting yet for either player, so I think they're trying to reassess, like, okay, do I expand, do I tag? Like, did he tag, is he still expanding?
And Cuban was touching on this a bit earlier in the pre-show, and yeah, it's very interesting how this early game dance has developed. Back in the day, the humans would always creep the national and then power build right away. But like Hubert pointed out, nowadays it's also sometimes wiser to pull back the peasants, go for a counterattack, look for damage yourself, and try then to reestablish a base on your own. Especially for humans, it seems like losing workers, losing peasants early is really damaging and crippling for the rest of the game.
And it can happen very easily, I tell you that. If you're not careful enough, you need to really be on point to the movements with anticipating all of the units of your opponent are going to go there. SyDe didn't even leave a single footman on the expo. That may be a mistake. He's about to maybe... I thought he would just head down and try and fight more, but no, he's just going to go home and defend here because he feels like he has to make sure he doesn't lose peasants. But XlorD uses that opportunity to get an extra camp, and he's going to get level 3 from this, which is huge.
Yeah, I would say both. Good play by both here, nicely reacting to each other, both splitting off their forces, and this would be gigantic if SyDe can get the last hit steal here. Like you mentioned, this would be level 3. Impale would secure it, doesn't want to use it, but got the experience in the end, got the staff as well, and now we're heading north to do more damage. The XlorD is ready against the peasants, and this could be very painful.
How is that tower not up yet? He made that way too late. That should have already been up. And then now Beetle's level 2. Against no arcane tower, the tower is going to go down, the floodgates are open, there's going to be a ton of peasants dying here, and units in general.
Oh yeah, SyDe had to run back, man, this took a long time. Seems like the panic is ensuing for the Frenchman. Great start by XlorD, this has always been one of the strongest of his matchups, perhaps the strongest. He's trying to go for the right click, he's trying to go for the cancel. If this doesn't work out, it will be a lot of lost opportunity, but there's no repair at the moment. I think he's going to get this one.
Yeah, it looks like it, and that's an absolute disaster. It doesn't even look like there was a cancel at all, so SyDe losing a ton of resources. Of course, he can restart that, but in the meantime, XlorD is just happy to take. He's got his expansion up, and he's in a great spot now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right on the money. You said he didn't leave that many peasants, or footage rather, back at the expansion, perhaps even none of them. And that attack really hurt him hard. Also the telestaff. I wonder if SyDe was also trying to spam that item. Can't wait for the next patch when we have 2 of those in the shop. Yeah, actually, when that happened with boots, we didn't really see many scenarios where a player bought both of them and then sold one. But with staff, that might actually happen here. Like XlorD, for example, could have done that if that was the case. But yeah, SyDe in a world of trouble. Like his expo is just so late. He needs to find damage.
He needs to go across the map now, start killing Acolyte. There isn't the Necropolis completed at the Expo yet, so if he kills Acolytes now, they're not going to be replaceable for a while.
XlorD keeps on creeping here, trying to get closer to 4. He's got such good experience already. High level on this Cryptlord, nice and maneuverable as well with the boots. And we saw a Shredder being picked up. Very unusual from Undeads, especially with the Ghoul opening. You have tons of Ghouls that translates into tons of lumber. Seeing the Shredder here is definitely a rare sight, but that means that XlorD can always use all the Ghouls for fighting. He's going to have all the lumber required from that Shredder. Really wants to make sure not to lose it, though.
He's not even upgrading a nice tower, actually. It's a bit weird. I guess he knows he can repair. Worst comes to worst. Is that actually the case, though? Because Water Elementals do a lot of damage.
Moving into a corner. It seems like a micro mistake by XlorD. This Shredder, this would be a huge pickup.
It was on purpose, because not many units can hit. One of the Water Elementals was going all the way around. And it's gonna live with all the repair in the world.
Nobody... Second Water Elemental, it's not over. Oh my god.
Nobody puts Shredder in a corner except XlorD.
Dude, that was such a close save. A little bit more damage would have done it. Crypto is back in the action as well. Archmage, by the way, needs to be careful about the next Impale. AM now super hurt. SyDe still in trouble. And the tech difference is massive.
Yeah, even the pig got taken out here for a couple skellies.
No mercy.
Schweine. Die Schweine. The tech advantage is just so insane. We see the keep tech only now starting, Black Citadel starting in the other side.
Yeah, that's bad news, baby. Especially when the Undead is ahead on tech, they can go for a strong frenzied timing. We are all too familiar, and only the human needs a strong tier 3 force to hold on against it, or a whole bunch of towers. Seems like SyDe needs a Shredder for whatever endeavor he chooses, but XlorD is just seemingly in full control of this game, start to finish.
What are we trying to shop for, SyDe? Maybe a Zeppelin? Yeah. So he grabs it, gets ensnared, but should be able to get out here in a second. So that's going to give him more leeway to be able to maneuver around everything without getting like properly caught ever, because there is no Fiend with web yet. But double Fiend production now begins for XlorD, and surely when he sees the Zeppelin, he's going to be getting web shortly after.
And the Archmage is still hurt here. The Nerop gonna slow him down right away, put some more pressure on the AM. Remember, Impale Coil is coming. Of course, here the Zeppelin is supposed to be the saving grace. Cryptlord a bit late for the defense. What was he doing? Checking out something else. But with the DK and the Fiends coming, this should all be resolved.
Ooh, the Archmage. XlorD's very good at timing perfectly the nuke. So if he sees an opportunity to impale Death Coil to get the Archmage here, he's surely gonna go for it.
He's thinking about it. Trying to focus him a bit with the towers as well. All these footmen now seem to be forfeit. That is unfortunately oftentimes their fate. Supposed to buy time, sacrifice themselves for the greater good, while we have the AM trying to find more kills and SyDe trying to get everything he can. But SyDe knows this game is not going exactly according to plan. The timings have been messed up. He's taking a quick gander at the main base, sees tier 3 coming, and I imagine he knows there's not much time left.
I don't know what it would take for SyDe to win this. I guess he's going to need an insane hold eventually when XlorD goes for the push. But the thing is, if SyDe would be ready, then XlorD could just creep a little bit more. And he's almost always going to get to 70, up to 80 supply way quicker than SyDe here. As we see, he immediately goes back into creeping, which is the right choice as well here. You want to get some hero levels. You want to get that DK at least to level 2, eventually to level 3. And get closer to Cryptlord level 5 as well. 51 supply though, that always hurts the eyes a little bit.
Look away, Todd. Look away. Avert your eyes.
I can't.
Yeah, you're being paid, so you better look, boy. SyDe has a lot of money. That's good. Gold has been hoarded, but the tech is still the issue. The MK is coming. Tier 3 now finally started, but I see, I believe, only a single tower this whole game. It's the Arcane at the expansion, and the Frenzy is queued. XlorD might even hit before 70. Honestly, he can seemingly go for whatever timing he wants.
Yeah, once he's gonna have Frenzy, which is in a few seconds. He can even bring all those ghouls, as we saw, he's still at the Shredder. But this Archmage has been in dangerous territory the entire game. Not much mana to work with on the Cryptlord, but he has a mana potion behind this.
Ooh, lucky that there was no web there. I guess there would have been a TP regardless. Double Workshop coming now, trying to get ready for the Destroyers.
Oh my god, he has no towers.
Yep, indeed. It does look worrisome. XlorD doesn't even have Destroyer upgrade, by the way, skipping the Destros, as it seems, which is going to give no credence to these flying machines. And now this is going to be one hell of a tough push. Here come the ghouls. We do have Frenzy. All can be brought thanks to the Shredder. But XlorD stabs home to deal with the harass. The Crypt Lord seemingly able to deal with this by himself.
Yeah, SyDe, this attempt was just to buy time, force XlorD back, but XlorD is too experienced to just press Town Portal and go back home with everything. He knows he can defend this with just the Crypt Lords and one tower, and on the other side of the map he's doing absolutely insane damage. SyDe already has a bunch of gold, but it's just not going to build up too much more.
First juicy impale we saw right there, hitting all the footmen. And the towers, plus the Crypt Lord. And a bit of a mana potion, another nice impale. Throws them all up in the air. I don't think they enjoyed the ride, though, with the footy soon to fall. The objective of taking out the Haunted might be successful, but that's not all that it's about.
I think not even. I don't think he even gets it. That Shredder put in work, by the way, and he's going to escape!
Save it again, no way!
The Expo goes down on the side. Okay, Shredder finally goes down, but that guy did a hell of a job already in the game. XlorD already banking a whole bunch of lumber. And I feel like SyDe may be about to have to wave the French flag minus the blue and reds. It's just going to be plain white.
Well, he's going to keep it nice and clean in that regard, at least. He's going to TP back one more time, trying to go for tanks now, but without an expansion that's normally not really supportable economy-wise. And that's just going to keep pressing on. And we're going to see the GG well played. XlorD here with the clear 1-0. Looking very much in charge of things. The Crypt Lord strat, like you said, not the norm anymore, but XlorD shows that he is still very potent with this strategy.
I think like Human against Undead, when it's played like this, it's just very snowbally. You can't let one single mistake happen. I kind of like how they both played it initially, but then after that, SyDe a bit of a late tower. Like maybe he had to force it with 5 peasants on the Expo and upgrade it way earlier, because then it's a very different game. And he had to stay on top of XlorD a little more, like letting him creep even just a few of those creeps from the shop. Actually, he got all 3 there eventually and got level 3. That was the big mistake, I think. He had to maybe be on top of the Acolytes and canceling the Expo a little more, at least. Because if you're doing neither, if you're not following the Undead around, preventing him from creeping, and also, or canceling the Expo, then you just fall super far behind.
It also seemed like you pointed out, when so few footies were defending the expansion, that came to hurt him. When I initially saw the 2 footmen running around and scouting, I thought, oh, this is cool. He's looking for with the footman. He's going to find a creepjack, make creeping hard. But when you look at 40 and Sock playing, they normally only scout with 1 footman to see what's going on. Thank you, good sir. Always taking care of me. Such a nice guy. Also off the air, the way he talks to me, it's just it's just the most pleasant.
Is that what happens?
Yeah, absolutely.
You like my quiz?
I was saying though, scouting with one footman might be better. Look with the 1 footman where the undead is, then look for your opportunities to punish there if there is one. And with the rest of the bunch, plus the Archmage, maybe there be more proactive yourself. Either be attacking onto the Acolytes or be at home defending, making sure your economy is safe.
Yeah.
Seemed like SyDe was spread a little too thin, which sometimes can happen when you're spread out like that. I like the initial play though, like splitting up your army, being active in multiple places at the same time. It can look really good, but I guess sometimes it is just a little bit too thin.
I wonder if the creep route was the most optimal by SyDe, because I've seen a lot of human players on this map, they creep the expansion straight away. Like, what would that be bad against? If a Death Knight rushed you, who the hell rushes with Death Knight anymore? Like, nobody. So you can creep it, and then if the opponent comes immediately after you did it, you just evacuate, and then you creep a little more to get 3, and then you expo. Yep. So there's not much downside to doing that, but instead he went for a small green camp, which I'm not a big fan of at all. I think when you have militia, you always should start with like a medium-sized camp somewhat, and maybe try to expo a little bit earlier if you can. So it's a lot. I said it was like a really snowbally matchup, and the creep routes are key, I think, to securing the early game lead.
I wonder what the hero is also going to be continuing on here. If we see a Crypt Lord again, MK is notorious for having a really tough time against the Crypt Lord. We're going to see what we get on the next map as we're loading into number 2.
I'm betting on Archmage against Lich.
I'm saying Archmage.
What about Undead?
Lich, yeah.
Boom.
No. Wrong and
you tried
wrong.
to go with me, and this is what happens. So Crypt Lord, apparently the theme here for this matchup, maybe XlorD feels like SyDe is really good against Lich, or maybe he might think like, okay, he struggles a bit more against Crypt Lord, or maybe it's just the flavor of the month, you know. He's been thinking that Crypt Lord could be making a huge comeback in this matchup.
Yeah, the Cryptolord has some weaknesses. We didn't see him really on map number 1, I think, levels
Does he,
here.
though?
I think so. I think so. He has a very low int gain, doesn't get much smarter with time. Reminds me of somebody else.
He doesn't need to get smart. He just impales everything.
Yeah, but
kills everyone.
once there's no juice, there's no more impale, baby.
Wait, what? But statues give infinite juice.
That is on tier 2. You're correct there. Here we see the AM again. You mentioned the creep routes before. I wanted to mention, of course, SyDe didn't know exactly what hero was going to be happening, what expansion timing for Exo was going to be happening, but if he had gambled on a lab creep first, this could have been potentially very good. I think AM3 is really where this matchup can turn around in the early game. Level 1 and 2, in my opinion, the Cryptolord has a bit the edge, but on level 3, when the Water Elementals reach that powerful state, that's when oftentimes the AM can take over, and also when the mana regen favors the human. But with SyDe here not taking the biggest camp at the start once more, reaching level 3 again might be difficult.
I really hope I didn't just hear favors the human, by the way, but it's all about the damage items here. And then again, we get a claw for SyDe, so that's a great start. If you can find 2 to 3 damage items early on, and then you shop for 1 or 2 more, you just have like a hero that hits like a truck. And it's just kind of the dream that you want to have happen on this map in particular, because of the very easily accessible marketplace near Expo.
Yeah, and where both players are expanding, it's also up in the north, they're close to each other, so the pendulum could be swinging back and forth with counter-attack, attack, defense, and so on. And levels, of course, are crucially important. This is why SyDe must make sure not to get the first footman surrounded, otherwise the Cryptolord will get level 2 too easily. AM is 2 already, gonna pick up the next item, double claws, here we go, we got the damage rolling in.
All right, does he stand there and try to let the expo happen no matter what? Or does he pull back with the peasants? It looks like SyDe wants to make that expo happen immediately. He's gonna get perhaps a creep jack. Okay, he sees the army there. So I think here, when he does that, he's basically gonna evacuate the expo if he sees XlorD running up, which should happen. And he's making sure that he gets the cancel on the other side. Actually, the peasants are not going away yet. And there's nothing to cancel.
We see the armies being split off again. Getting the narrow cancel here would be amazing, but it's hard to do with only so few footmen. The footy's back at home. Exlo splitting his forces. Exlo seems to be in a great position here to be attacking and defending at the same time.
Wait, what is going on? He's going to lose every peasant plus the town hall here.
The peasants aren't building. The peasants weren't building for a long time, has to cancel it. And the AM seems to be a bit impotent at the moment. Not too effective here. And the tower, oh, if that one gets cancelled as well, which it will, this is a rough start again for SyDe.
Oh, this is really bad, but he did get away with a lot of those peasants. XlorD maybe not paying as much attention as he should have been, because he could have clicked those down. And 2.5 against 2.5 right now. I think either player might try to go for a level 3 here sometime soon. And when I look at SyDe's situation here, I feel like there's no chance he just techs. Like, he's just going to needs to insist with the expansion. XlorD finding an opportunity, just like last game, to go for the exact same camp that he did, the Merchants. And we saw how good he is with the staff.
Yeah, it seems like SyDe perhaps here lacking a bit of experience. Seems like he's been not too efficient with his movement. The counterattack didn't do much, he couldn't defend his expansion. Now...
Are you not seeing enough movements?
I want to see all the movement. If he can take out the Nerub though, this could indeed slow down the expansion quite a bit. Cryptlord staffing in, trying to defend, needs to take out the Acolyte. SyDe might still be able to get this Nerub, especially if he summons another Water Lily. But back at home at the Expo, we see it on the mini-map. Again, the peasants will be threatened.
A Nerub going down. I thought you need 100 supply chimps for that to happen. Actually, it lives. Of course it does.
Everything seems to be working out here for XlorD. Great start for him.
I mean, he has no Expo. And he's not taking. He starts the Expo now in front of SyDe, so SyDe will have that information. I think SyDe is okay here. Especially with 2 claws, he can actually get 3 in a second, whether from the schools or from the Murloc camp. He should definitely be grabbing some extra items. You always have the gold for it here. We see he has 360, so maybe there was only rings and garbage in that marketplace.
Cryptolord is 3 already, has a bunch of mana still left over. Would love to summon some more beetles, I'm sure. The tower timing at the expansion is also a big deal. When is that arcane gonna be up? 20 seconds or so. Is there enough time? The town hall is finished, but XlorD now ready to punish the workforce. This tower must finish.
Save little juice 3 times. And he shall appear. They're already all there, as he has a lot of mana. That tower, he needs to save that no matter what here. But even if he does, he's still going to take a bunch of damage. And Militia finally coming in. Oh my god, if SyDe defends well here, and he shoots, he's in a very decent spot. He needs level 3 really bad. The ghoul! All right, he gets 1, and that's level 3.
That's a double claws, baby. That was a double claws damage, resulting in enough damage. And yeah, I think you're right, dude. Side all of a sudden looking good. I was perhaps being a bit too pessimistic for the human. The tech starts now for Side as well. Lumber Mill should be coming up soon. We got a shop also. And XlorD, his expansion still far away and still no tech, as I say it, queuing the tier 2. But if Side can now manage to play a stable next couple of minutes, this is a good position for him. But XlorD is still looking for weakness.
He's threatening on the main base. Nice wall, so the Beetles actually can't get in. They're a little too thick for that. Side is not really running home yet. He's busy kind of fighting some ghouls on the other side. I'm surprised he's not diving for the cancel, because he could easily get it on that haunted gold mine, and that might almost be game if he could let that happen. But he has to run home with a bunch of his units to push that army back. I would like to see him tower up a bit more like last game. I mean, obviously he wasn't in a great spot, but he definitely didn't get many towers. And XlorD wants to get in there.
And he is gonna take out the altar. The floodgates are open, but now the human... Oh! Actually, might just barely hold on, but there's quite a few peasants going down as well. This will become noticeable. This is a bit painful, but of course, Side had the faster expansion. More resources are coming in. And now we have the footies fighting against the ghouls and everything else. Heal scroll could have been used there for the perfect time. There it is. A slight bit too late, perhaps. But yeah, the Beetles here are proving difficult.
XlorD is finding exactly enough damage here in a position where he needed to achieve damage. Really well done. And that allowed his Expo to go up as he wanted in the meantime. XlorD 4.1 here. So usually when a XlorD gets level 4 this quick, that's going to mean level 5 quickly. And then we're looking at a very strong Impel coming into play.
Yeah, very hard for Side to deal with this. He's having to deal with pressure on two fronts at the expansion and in the main base. Even some denies here being displayed. XlorD now with a big experience lead. AM has to do most of the heavy lifting by himself. The footy's not really in fighting shape anymore as the Beetles are slowly being dealt with. XlorD is starting to run out of mana. This is when Side hopefully will be able to stabilize at long last.
All right, Keep Tech about to finish, and the altar will be I don't know, actually he just finished. Okay, so he can start mount tanking very soon. Needs to start Castle Tech, but he doesn't have any lumber. He lost too many peasants for that to be possible. Actually, I think this is a moment where you need to be spamming peasants from your expo and from your main base as well, because you really need to catch back up. Ideally against Thunder, this is where you need the most lumber. You need somewhere around 12 to 13 lumber peasants. And now he probably has like 5.
Yeah, this was an excellent attack by XlorD. He didn't have the best early game timing at all. You could say the early game wasn't his, but then with a 2-front attack, XlorD is able to come back into the game, and now he's grabbing the tier 3 lead and will have a noticeable edge there. Yeah, XlorD 4.2 really scares me, because that usually means level 5 is right around the corner, whether he creeps or he fights. And he still has a bunch of mana as well. Not like he's completely empty on that. So mount tanking on the way, but that castle tech is going to be so delayed. We see he's still pumping peasants, he's getting improved lumber harvesting upgrade as well. I only see one peasant being produced. That's the mistake here. He needs to be producing peasants from both town halls here. There we go. A bit late though. Still trying to catch up in the lumber. We got improved lumber harvesting coming as well with the MK soon to join. There's going to be more kill threat out on the map. But just as the MK is here to greet the rest of the gang, so is the...
Oh, the Impel. The Impel, can he get it? If he impels, he actually get the Magi here. And the item. He's trying to get it without an Impel, and he gets it! 4.3. And greater mana. Oh my god, alright, this is... Sacre bleu.
Yeah, this is a scary sight indeed. The MK comes just a little bit too late. In fact, the MK isn't quite here yet. AM had to do a lot of work by himself this game. He did a lot of things very right, especially canceling the expansion. Twice, I believe it was in the early game.
Oh, the Archmage said, you guys didn't wait for me? He's not even getting healed now.
Potion will need to be added. XlorD this time, by the way, not going for Fiends. He's going for Ghoul upgrades and plenty of Ghouls. That is another Crypt as well. Could be a strong Frenzy timing here on the horizon.
He's gonna Mad Frog him, isn't he? A swarm of Ghouls coming in.
And the triple hero as well, I imagine. The statue is now soon to be added. XlorD a bit hurt, but XlorD's always seemingly where he needs to be.
Yeah, it became a thing. Like, Undeads realized that, you know, Fiends can be a struggle against Knights. So they're like, all right, we might as well get some Ghouls, Hill Scrolls. We've got the micro for it. Improved Unholy Strength and Ghoul Frenzy on the way now. And when the Knights are in low numbers, and there is not clap level 2, ghouls can do very well in those fights.
Now we have the Shredder, but that one might be a bit late. With that, Lumber will be fixed before too long. But look at this! XlorD again, exactly where he needs to be. And that's because there was a scout, Beetle there, up on the high ground, seeing everything. Last hit goes to XlorD as well, or was it? I'm not quite sure.
He was side. He went to 1.3 with the MK.
And going for the DK. On level 1, he's pretty squishy. Could be a kill for him. A few more right clicks will do it. There we go. Gets the hero kill. Side getting some fresh air.
And he picked up a belt as well for his efforts here. Initially, I thought it was a good creepjack, but I guess he did get pushed back eventually. XlorD is still 4.3, so not much was killed. No guard tower in the Expo. Only the Arcane Tower against
Oh my god, so many ghouls. What is this? This is like a Zergling rush.
This is the Mad Frog, bro.
And 3 ghouls producing just endless, 3 crypts producing, I mean, endless ghouls. MK with a Stormbolt, sure he can deal with 1 ghoul, but how is he going to deal with the rest of them? Zeppelin is pretty nice right now to load in and out, and the water elementals are providing some good damage. AM level 4, that helps with the mana.
Where is he getting black gunpowder? Okay, castle just completed. SyDe needs to start a Paladin and Knights right now. He needs a Miraculous Hole here. 2 Knights in production now, but ghouls flooding inside of the expansion. Lich ready for the next Nova. If that MK gets dropped down, he's gonna get a taste of ice from the Nova. Potion used. Tower being overrun. No militia being sent from the main base. I mean,
there's too many.
Really barely has any peasants anyway there.
It's so many ghouls that he can reproduce so quickly. XlorD is not supply block, but he could make even more of them. They produce so fast from these crypts. 2 upgrades in the works. MK, he is living a delicate balance here between life and death. The Zeppelin is indeed a lifesaver. But I think even with 2 Knights, even with 4 or 6 Knights, this would not be holdable.
Yeah, the upgrade is absolutely amazing for XlorD as well. He's almost 2-2 on his ghouls. Completely steamrolling through that expansion. XlorD right around the corner from level 5. And usually losing to your expansion means the game. It's so hard to recover from there.
Side of the lab again, hoping to get something done here. But it seems like just like on map 1, this expansion will have to be given up. And on 1 base, this is not really feasible. Perhaps if you have insanely strong heroes, it is. But that is far from the case.
And XlorD immediately knowing as well how to keep on applying pressure, goes to the other side of the map. He's going to take that camp away from SyDe here. And he's going to make sure he stays on top of when he has to fight. The worst thing he could do is just play too passive, go back to his side of the map and creep. He knows that right now he's still very powerful. Impale ends on all 3 heroes. Archmage goes down. He did have Town Portal. And that's going to be it. XlorD with a 2-0 victory.